It's the Rod and Cyndee Podcast, starring Rod Lyman and Cyndee Mooby. Welcome to the Rod and Cyndee Podcast. My name is Rod Lyman, and I have right over here, what's her name?
Cyndee. Hello, all.
Oh my gosh, this is quite an honor, because you're not supposed to be back until September, are you?
That is correct. I am here in Maine. I've been here almost 3 months. I will return to Phoenix the first half of September.
First half of September. How crazy is that?
It's totally crazy. I'll tell you what, though, it's been such a beautiful thing here. It's been very insightful, very healing, very all kinds of words, actually. I've experienced a lot of beautiful things, unique things, interesting things, magical things, and probably the list can go on and on. I'm super grateful.
So this is, just to share a little backstory about you, this is kind of your first time you've ever gotten to go out and do something by yourself, ever.
Well, for the most part, I've been to Switzerland a couple times by myself.
But not 3 months.
Not for this long of duration, that is absolutely correct. But I have done, the Switzerland thing, which was, quite the journey and experience all by myself on the other side of the pond in Europe. But yes, you're right, Rod. This is the first time I've done something on my own, away from family, friends, Arizona even, for longer than 3 weeks or better, 4 weeks.
That's crazy.
So, I know, right?
Well, it's about almost 3 weeks before you come back now. And that's kind of crazy that we've been having lots and lots of people going, when is Cyndee coming back? And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to do a podcast. So I told everybody the last week everybody's been kind of whining about you. I said, you know what? I'm just going to do a podcast. They can listen to the podcast and figure out when you're going to be back.
That sounds great. I know even up until today, I got a message from a coworker back in Phoenix, and she says, I missed you, so I get it. They are very sweet, they're very respectful and give me my space and time. However, occasionally I get a little text, hi, how you doing? Missing you. So I get it. And I miss everyone as well.
Of course you do. That I try to leave you alone as much as I can because I know how what. Was that a joke? Did I just say a joke here or something? Oh.
Yes, you do try to honor it, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
I try to honor it. I like how so political you are about that. That I try to honor it. That's really nice. I've been very honorable with this.
I know it actually goes both ways. You either call me, text me, or vice versa. So we've been in touch quite a bit, and I'm pretty appreciative of that. Thank you.
Well, absolutely. It's there's a reason and behind this, and the whole reason is that this was a healing move for Cyndee for these 3 months, and it was a healing for both of us. It was just an amazing healing process that we were going through. And since we've been doing the process for 3 months, and that it's been kind of a nice process, and we're getting to find out about each other. And I think that we're going to talk a little bit about that today, about what we're processing and what's been going on. Right? Is that correct?
Absolutely. This has been more about self, learning about self and, who we are as individuals. And, time away from someone or people or places can really allow yourself to think and evaluate, let go, and just all these, things like that to just kind of embrace who you are and to, move forward in your life and what is it that you want to move forward in your life, and really bottom line is, who am I? We know who we are, we should. If not, this, time away is a great time to find out, who we are. And that's definitely some discoveries I have, encountered, and I know as well as you. So it's always a good thing to break away, let's just say, for a while.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's kind of just taking a break from life itself and the daily routines and everything else and that. I mean, the only one routine that probably hasn't changed much is talking to each other, but otherwise has been daily routines that that we don't get to see each other like we did our Taco Tuesdays and things like that, and doing our podcast and working together. I mean, those changes in our life. And I think that's the important thing is that we lead into that right now is that, you and I haven't gotten to work with each other for 3 months now. I mean, we've worked a lot together. And it's made us grow in a different way. I really believe that.
Well, absolutely. Like I said, you, and speaking to all of you out there too, we get to find out, like, again, who we are, our own identity. Sometimes we can get so caught up in, people around us or a person around us or a place around us or things around us that, we lose touch of, again, who we really are, and what is the purpose of why we're here, and what is it that I want to do next in my life, Again, it's about discovery, and to, just embrace all that.
Exactly. Well, tell us a little bit about Maine, first of all, for people that's never been in Maine. We have a few listeners from Maine anyway, though. But tell us a little bit of how you, as a Phoenician, that's somebody from Phoenix, all their life, sees a place that's by water. What's it like, Cyndee, there?
Well, it's actually very lovely. For someone like me, or me, I should just say, I'm not a real big water person, and I own that, and I say that. But I guess what I didn't really know after I got here, that I really do like water. I need water, and I didn't realize my body and soul thirst for water. It was so dehydrated, I didn't even realize that. Like you said, being a Phoenician, living in the dry desert, yeah, I mean, I can drive an hour away and go to a lake, but to have at my beck and call, the home that I'm living in, their backyard is the beach. And I have discovered that it's just so amazing that I didn't realize how much my body was aching for it. And now I can't get enough of it. And I'm actually, already feeling sad that, my weeks are coming to an end, and I'm going to miss the waters. I'm going to miss being able to walk, a few steps down behind the house here and just sit at the beach or go into the lake and, or just look at the beautiful scenery around me, because it's more than just a lake. There's a lot of, landscape. There's trees and like a forestry, and it's just gorgeous. It's so earthy and so nurturing. It's just, oh my gosh, again, I just cannot believe that I didn't realize this is what I really needed. So Maine is absolutely beautiful. The East Coast is absolutely beautiful.
Perfect. That's gorgeous too. I kind of explain where you're at, Cyndee. A lot of people don't realize you're on an island in the middle of a lake.
Yeah, so it's really great. So real quick, I'm just going to give a backstory, if you don't mind, Rod.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Of how I actually kind of got here. So it's amazing how when at some points in our lives, something sticks with us. So back when I was summertime, when I was going to go to be a freshman that, following summer, my mom and her friend Cindy, God bless her soul, and my brother and I, the four of us, we went on a trip, and up Colorado to Wyoming, Grand Tetons and Yellowstone Park. Well, when we were at Yellowstone Park, we were in the gift shop, and I was at the counter, to purchase my items. And I remember this so vividly. a beautiful lady behind the counter. She was older, and she was so happy. And I recognized that as a teenager. And I said, your name tag says, you're whatever, Jane Smith from Wisconsin. I said, we're in, Yellowstone here. And she said, yeah. She said, this is a summer job. She says, it's a seasonal job. She said, and I love it. And I got that from her. Something stuck with me about her being so happy and doing that. Fast forward to this year, 2018, in January, my mom and I went on a trip to Alaska. And where we were staying, the people who worked at the place we were staying at were also seasonal help. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that as a kid. So the next month in February, I did some research and, seasonal help, and I applied for something in Alaska, and that didn't come through, but I saw this one for Maine, and it did come through. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great. So I got the job. So I sit here as we speak on this island. It's called Fry Island, and it's surrounded by Sebago Lake here in Maine, and it's in the southwest portion of Maine. So like 2 hours away is New Hampshire, and a couple hours away is Massachusetts. That's how close I am to those two states. But I sit here every day, 24/7 on this island. But it's so beautiful, and it's so peaceful. It's so loving. And I work down at the little general store and cafe. I work in the kitchen. And so I'm working, but when I get done with work, guess what? I get to come, take off my work clothes, walk down to the beach, and just sit and just be in awe with the waters and the landscape. So that's my story, and I'm super grateful that, it's amazing how something can, stick with you. It's almost like you'd manifested it, didn't realize it, though, until years later. I'm super grateful.
I just think it's beautiful, honey. It's just an awesome trip that you're on and everything else. One of the things I find fascinating, though, it's just kind of funny to me, and I think other people might find this funny too, is that, Cyndee, tell them how many other workers in your kitchen are women.
So I think out of about, funny enough, I actually tried to count this morning the kitchen help only. I think there's about 15 of us, and I'm the only female, and I'm the eldest of all.
You are the matriarch of it.
I am the matriarch, absolutely.
I find that fascinating. That's your life, Cyndee. It's just it's fascinating that you play such a beautiful role in that, and kitchen help. How beautiful is that? Cynthia movie is of kitchen help. But a lot of people may not realize is that you actually were a lunch lady at a school, too. So you have a lot of experience in cooking. And you're a great cook, by the way, too.
Well, thank you. And yes, you're right. I have worked in the school district, and I worked in a women's behavioral center as a chef. And funny enough is that I never went to school for culinary school or nothing like that. I just kind of learned as I've been going along and learning from people I work with, and I can't be any more grateful for that. These people have such knowledge, and they share it with me, and I have grown in the culinary or the food industry, or however you want to say it, a lot just by being around experienced people. And I mean, how wonderful is that, and how lucky and blessed I am all at the same time.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what, this kitchen, they call it a cafe. No, it's a kitchen. It's full-blown kitchen. And I don't mean to interrupt, sorry. But I am the prep cook, plus I am the morning girl on the weekends. I make muffins and breakfast
Muffin
sandwiches
girl.
and blah, 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 blah. I just do all kinds of stuff. Pizza making and fry cooking, and I even done a little saute, so it's quite the gig. It's fun.
Yes, I think you were making crab cakes this morning or something. You were telling me a story about that.
Yeah.
Let's just leave that at that, okay? Just a wonderful story about crab cakes. I love it. Because Cyndee is not a shelf food person at all, so it's just funny to listen to her stories about what she's making there. Well,
right.
But you're having all this wonderful time. What about spirituality there? I mean, is there abundance of spirituality on this island?
Well, I don't know about abundance. I only know of a couple people that are knowledgeable of it or understand it, let's just say. And, so I mean, I'm grateful for that, if I do want to speak in a spiritual way, that at least I have a couple people to fall back on. But for the most part, it's just been kind of me, or, sometimes talking to you on the phone, and that's okay too, I don't know. Some people here are only here temporarily, or they just are vacationing here. The workers, most of them are young anyways. They're like in their early, mid-20s, and so I don't know how much they're really into it, and I don't ask. But from my own personal experience, to me, that's really what really matters.
Right. And so you've been working on your own personal growth there.
Absolutely.
You want to share with some of the things that you've found out about yourself since you've been there, about as you've been working on your spiritual growth?
Well, it's amazing when you do have time to yourself, as we spoke earlier already. You're able to, especially being surrounded in the scenery that I have on top of all that, but
right.
You're able to just kind of be at peace and at quiet and really feel like you can really connect. It's different being outdoors with, waters and greenery, meditating or just connecting versus, being in a house or a room or whatever. It's a whole different vibration. And water is energy. I've totally learned that.
Right.
I've totally learned that. And my spiritual experiences with water and water being energy is just exponential. The energies that have been coming through have been crazy, strong, amazing, where a few times they even knocked me out. That's how powerful it is. But yet, it's okay. I'm okay, and it's safe. It's that kind of beautiful vibration. And so I've, learned a lot about myself, and I know there's more to learn, but I certainly have gotten to connect with my inner goddess, let's just say.
Right.
And she is very quite powerful.
Yeah, I'd have to admit with that I've felt her pretty amazingly. So what does that do for a person when they really find their inner self and they really find the inner goddess of themselves? How does that make their physical feel?
Well, that's a really good question. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to just say that whatever the physical is, no matter, what size you are or color you are or religion or blah, 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 any of that, that doesn't matter, because all that is your personality, your shell, your soul, your you came to be in that body to experience that type of life. Set that aside and look into who you really are, because who you really are is what really matters. And that's the you that's going to make a difference in yourself and how you feel and how you act and how you present yourself to yourself and to the world. I lost my train of thought. But anyways, that's who you need to connect with, because that's the person, the you, that is the most important. Doesn't matter on the outside. That's just, you're living it. If you're unhappy about something on the outside, fix it. We are capable of fixing and changing our outside appearance. And sometimes if we do that, it makes us feel happy on the outside, because it makes us happy on the inside too, and vice versa. But truly, it's all about who you really are, because that's where you're going to get your answers. That's where you're going to find the love. That's where you're going to find the compassion. And that's where you're going to find all the answers that you need to know in life.
Well, that's amazing, Cyndee. So I've heard this woman that I've known for quite a while that tell me almost the other day, I have no idea who I am. Tell me who I am. Now, what if a person can't find themselves who they are? How did you do that? How did you find who you were?
Well, through through a few different ways, I suppose. Through listening to people and how they react to who I am, capital letters. Just again being here and away from home.
Outside interferences.
Yes, thank you. It allowed me to really just look inside of myself and to know and to learn who I really am. And that's really all we need to do is just take that time to look inside, talk to ourselves. Because when we talk to ourselves, we're talking to our higher self, and our higher self is going to, guide you. Yes, celestials can guide you and protect you. You know what? Ultimately, you yourself, your higher self, your you is what's going to guide you in life. And that's what has been doing all your life already to where you are now, and it will continue.
So you're telling me what you're saying is that to find yourself, you have to just let go of yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So don't bring anybody else into this. This is why you went there with clear. You're completely clear. You're free of everything. There was nothing holding you back. That was one of the biggest reasons why you found yourself, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like dropping the shield, dropping your clothes, just being naked, if you will. Just being naked to yourself, to the world, and going, here I am. This is who I am.
Right.
Take it or leave it,
Right.
And I'm going to take it because I know that I am someone very beautiful and special inside. And I know I have things and gifts and to offer to not only myself, but to others as well. And that's what it should be,
No, I like the idea what you said is that being naked to the world, that aspect, because we're so self-conscious about who we are on the outside that we don't want to share ourselves with other people in that aspect. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't want to stand naked in front of a bunch of people, but you know what? Once we do that and we feel comfortable with who we are within, and that's it. That's exactly what you did. Is you shed your body, you shed your skin, you shed the clothing, and you became naked. You let people see you for who you truly are, and you're totally in a place where nobody knows you. Nobody knows that you're Cyndee Movie, the color therapist, or you're Cyndee Movie with the Rod and Cyndee Podcast. You're Cyndee Movie, this great spirituality person that nobody knows that where you're at.
Yeah.
You got to be whoever you wanted to be,
which is me.
And that which is you. Exactly. Now it's interesting. Maine is the abbreviation is me, so I still find that fascinating too.
I know. I love it. I love that when I discovered that myself a few months back. I'm like, oh, Maine, it's me. It's all about me in Maine. And I said that before I even got here, and it absolutely came to fruition. It really is and was about me. Well,
absolutely. There's some amazing stories that you've had told me about what has happened there since you've been there, how you've transformed yourself into so many different feelings and so many different thoughts that, it's a maturity thought that within the spirituality sense that you've grown, and it's beautiful to watch.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I just want to backtrack just for a quick second here.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
That whole naked thing, it is perfect because when we're born, we're born naked. And that's what I feel like I have been here, is like reborn. I shed everything. I'm like standing out there naked, not really, but just standing out there and naked and just being like, here I am, I'm rebirthing myself. And that's what I've been doing here, and I find it, just very lovely. And sorry, I didn't mean to throw it off there for a second,
No.
but what was it that we were talking about? Sorry.
Oh, absolutely not. We have no idea. So, so let's go back to the naked thing then, since that's the topic that we're on. Sorry, Cyndee, but it is. It's so true. It's that the idea is that we're born into this world that way, and we're going to go out this way. You know,
Yeah.
no matter what in that. So, but we in the middle we cover up. You know, it's funny. So I do have, because there's some things, bunch of questions that I had for you in that. And one of the question is when a person is trying to find their happy within, and they're trying to find who they are and trying to learn what love truly is and that, what kind of information would you give that person? What would you tell them how to find that and define it?
I believe this is me talking.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Through my experience, when I found my happy is when everything else around me really didn't matter.
Right.
And I felt free.
Absolutely.
I felt light. I felt free. And I felt naturally happy. Like, it didn't matter about anything around me. And I, walked on water, if you will. And
well, you were on an island.
Right. It's just such a freeing feeling, just like that beautiful butterfly who's caught up in the, its cocoon. And as soon as it's let out and her wings are dried and she can fly, she's free. That's exactly how I perceive happiness. For each individual person, it's going to be a little different. But when you feel that you've come to a point where it's not, when I say nothing matters, I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just things don't matter. Things don't get to you. Things just flow. Your spirituality just flows. You flow. Like I said, like you walk on water. You float in the air because you're just so happy, but you're not happy on the outside necessarily. It's the happy on the inside that we all are searching for. And that's where you're going to find your totality of happiness, is once you find that happy within. But again, it's got to be a little bit of soul searching. It's got to be a little bit of connecting. It's got to be a little bit, who am I? And why don't I want to know who I am? Why don't I want to know what I'm supposed to be doing? Why don't I want, you should be asking yourself these questions and living that, because you're going to get your answers. When you talk to yourself, you're going to get your answers. You will be guided, as I said earlier. So to me, that's happy, and when you just feel free. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Just a beautiful butterfly.
Well, exactly. So I question, because a lot of people understand that if you try to help peel a butterfly out of their cocoon, they'll die because they won't have the strength that they need by breaking out of that cocoon. They won't be able to fly. So with that said, who helped you make you happy? Who makes you happy, Cyndee? Who was there that made you happy?
Who?
Yeah, what person?
Me. I'm the who.
Exactly. You didn't have to have another person in your life to make you happy, did you?
No.
You did this by yourself.
Absolutely.
You did this for yourself.
Absolutely.
Nobody else can make you happy.
That is true.
That's
why it's important to know who you are.
It's interesting.
Who I am.
Exactly, because everybody else is a one-sided thing, because they can make us sad or make us feel sad, but nobody can make us happy. That's our choice of who we are.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's such a beautiful thing to realize that and recall that, Cynthia, that, it's like, I don't need anybody to, and you did this, you're by yourself, Cynthia, there. You're on an island. You did this to yourself and for yourself. You've never done this before. You're what, in your mid 30s, 40s, right? And you've...
Yes.
Okay, we'll just go with that. And you've never got to
Yes,
do this before. This is you, Cynthia. This is you getting to be you. And you're
absolutely.
and you got to be, and you're happy about it. Of course, you got some days that you worked your little tail off. I mean, actually, today you probably put 12 hours in, correct?
I did, indeed.
And guys, you got to remember, she works in a place that's full of heat, in a kitchen, and no air conditioner.
Yeah, two little windows that are open in this little kitchen with like 10 of us working in it, and it's so hot and so humid and so crazy. You know, when you feel the sweat rolling down the middle of your back, you're going, oh, geez.
But yet,
Is that a bug or is it sweat?
exactly. But in the midst of all this young men that's in a hot kitchen, in smelly young men, I'm sure, because I was a smelly young man, smelly young men in a kitchen, working your tail off, and in the midst of this, you find the most happiness you've ever been in a long time.
Oh, my gosh, absolutely, absolutely. And you know why? It goes back to, guess what? When I'm done with work, I get to come to a place and be by the waters and the landscape, and it's so gorgeous. And I don't know what I'm going to do with myself when I go back home, because I won't be able to walk out and go to to what I have right now.
You may have to get a blow-up pool you put in the backyard and with a little chair by it so you can stick your feet in it every night.
I know. Those little plastic pools.
Exactly. But I just want to, I wanted to add this to this, okay? You give up a job that you've had. You're on hiatus basically with this job you had. You give up friends and family and your puppy and everything else. You give everything up to go do this. Why would you do that?
You know, it's interesting. I believe it was definitely divine timing. You know, I'm not, just reflecting back to my story that I had shared earlier, I believe it was just meant to be. It was time for me to have me time. And the universe definitely provided that, put everything in motion, as the universe always does when you trust and believe. And it all fell into place absolutely perfect. It could not have happened any more perfect than what it did. And interesting, you mentioned, my dog, my family, my friends, and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I know this is probably going to sound sad to say, but I haven't missed any of that, which is crazy because I love everything about all those people and my dog, etc., and Phoenix. But I have not really missed it because you know why? This is what my soul is searching for. This is what my soul is aching for. That will be there when I go back home.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. It's like when you find that happy, you don't know how or where or why it comes, and you can't even describe that kind of happy. Like you can't describe when you're in a blissful moment. Sometimes these things are hard to describe. Like I'm trying to describe right now that I'm not missing all that. I'm not, because this is what I needed to do. This is what the universe has provided for me to do, so I can have peace, so I can find myself, so I can be myself, so I can learn myself, so I can explore myself, and then, possibly, and with that being said, some healing, letting go, and, blah, 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 sorry, that sounds negative, but, things like that. And it's soulfully.
Right. I mean, and I don't take it personal that you don't miss me, but I'm joking, Cindy.
Yes.
But seriously, I mean, on a serious note, that when you find you're happy in that, it doesn't matter who else is in your life at that moment. You know that, right? It doesn't matter who's around you, what's around you, or anything else, because you can find happy in anything then. That doesn't mean you need to have materialistic things. It doesn't mean you have to have materialistic stuff that to make you happy. You just are happy. That's what the understanding that I get when you tell me that you don't miss the the everything around it, the puppy and your cute dog and your family and your friends and everything else. I get that, Cynthia, because it means that you can find happy wherever you're at then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
and down deep inside, I do miss all of them and that, but right now I'm okay with that. How's that? I'm okay with that.
No, exactly. No, that's the exact thing.
To miss.
Right.
I'm not supposed to feel that way, I think.
Right. Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda things, right? I mean, this is a whole different story. You have no idea. This is a new way of writing a book right now because you have no idea how you're supposed to feel right now about this. Right? Because you've never experienced this, so you don't know how to feel.
Exactly. Exactly.
So this is uncharted territory in that for you and I get it. And the really cool thing about it is that in your spirituality and that there's been some really cool things that are happening. You're starting to channel a little more. You're starting to see things. You're starting to feel things. Because when the mind is at peace and you find you're happy, that's when the most beautiful spiritual thing starts coming.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Once you clear the cobwebs, absolutely. Guess what? Here's looking at you, kid.
I know that you had an experience by the lake one night on the beach and that where you had some really cool experiences happening to you. You actually had a text call, somebody texting you from the area code of Maine, correct?
Yep.
And they were actually telling you that they were close and everything else but you knew that it wasn't just an ordinary text message, didn't you?
That is correct.
How'd you know that, Cynthia?
Just by what they said.
Just by what they said. But didn't you try calling that phone number you told me?
I did, and it's just one of those leave a message. It's just like a non-working number, just leave a message type of deal.
A non-working number text you to tell you that they were near you, close. How cool is that?
It was the most beautiful experience. It really was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shall we move on to a different thing? Because I know.
No, don't be sorry. That's what this is about. This is exactly what this is about. When you have time to yourself, these are the kind of magical things that can happen because you're quiet. You're connecting with yourself, and yourself is connecting to the higher sources, the universe, and etc. And these are the kind of beautiful, magical things that can happen. And no, I choked up because it was so beautiful.
They wanted you to reach out to them, right? They wanted you to they wanted you to reach out to them, didn't they?
Yes.
What happened when you reached out to them?
Well, the thing is that you want me to share a little bit about it right now?
Yeah, if you want to, absolutely, Cynthia. We have time. I mean, it's up to you of how much you want to share.
Oh, yes. So, people, this is what happens when you get to have time to yourself, once again. Like real time, not because you live alone and you're, that kind of alone time. True self-time. And this one particular evening, Rod and I were chatting on the phone. I went out to the beach, and it was late. It was like 11:30 or something like that at night.
7:30 our time, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, 11:30 my time, 3 hours ahead.
Yes.
And anyways, we were just chatting, and I was looking at the moon. To my left side, if you will, was the moon, and it was 4 days away from being full. I remember that. And it was a little cloudy that night, and I just kept, looking up at the sky, as I always do. At night I look up, but during the day I look down because I can see the waters. And I know, crazy, but it's true. I look down at the waters and the landscape, but during the night I look up. Anyways, and it was a little cloudy, and then all of a sudden there was an opening to, like, my right side, and I was able to see the stars. And I'm like, oh, God, the stars are so beautiful. They feel so close. And that's what I was thinking to myself. You know, they just felt like so close. I could reach out and touch them. And anyway, so we started, kept talking. And then Rod's phone started going crazy, and I'm like, oh boy, what's going on? First I heard noises on your phone, and then your phone started going crazy.
Yep.
Like going through pictures and stuff. I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. Thank you. This is the kind of experience we have, guys. And Rod goes, Cyndee, what did you do? And I said, I don't know. I just had a thought that, I felt close to the universe, like I could just touch them and reach out. And then as we were talking, right after that, I got this message, and I'm like, what the heck is this, right? And I'm going to read you a message here.
So you got this message on your phone, though, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So while we were still talking, and Rod's phone's going crazy, and he's asking me what's going on. I go, I don't know. All of a sudden, it was Monday, July 23rd at 11:45. I got a message. Do not worry about the small stuff. And that was from that 207 number.
Oh, wow.
Area code. And I'm like, okay, I won't worry about the small stuff. And then right after that, a few minutes later, I got, we are near, reach out.
You're what? What? Say that again?
Actually, hold on. After I got the message, the text message, do not worry about the small stuff, I told Rod, Rod, what happened to the moon? It disappeared.
Oh, that's
it's like
right.
over here. Yeah, so it's over here, like by the tree. The tree next to me is all lit up. Where's the moon? And after I said that to Rod, I got a message saying, we are near, reach out. I'm going, oh my gosh. Okay. And then, so I kept getting these text messages from that number. Rod is still on the other line. And then they said, listen. And then they said, we are next to you. And they said, feel. And then they said, be open, allow. You can hear us. And these were messages. So while I was sitting at the beach trying to understand all this beautiful stuff that was happening, I was getting these text messages. The universe or whoever was talking to me via my text on my phone while they wanted me to experience all this. And I saw the light to the left of me, and finally the moon showed up at some point. Again.
Oh my gosh.
But these are the kind of things that could possibly happen when you get to know you. And be you.
When you're able to be just you and you're just happy. This is textbook stuff that happens. I mean, in a sense. But I'd like to know which textbook this comes from. But it's meant to be. I mean, you're meant to see things. You're meant to feel things that when you're happy. It's just such beautiful stories, Cynthia. It's just unbelievable, beautiful story.
Thank you.
And
it really is.
Go ahead.
I'll just say, just real quick, when you're happy, you light up. When you light up, your heart lights up. When your heart lights up, your soul lights up. Everything internally lights up when you are happy. You're joyful. You're just this beacon.
Right. Well, you're absolutely correct. I mean, I imagine I've seen this before when I'm in the best mood and happy person and everything else, and I go somewhere. I'll remember you and I were hanging out one time. We were both in a happy mood. We were in good moods and that, and we went to Fry's, and the manager of Fry's basically gave us a shelf for free, and then half our food was for free, and that don't worry about it. And it was really funny is that we walk around like that when we're happy, and that things are just given to us. when you find you're happy and realize who you're happy in that, and when you realize it, things are just given to you. The universe will provide for you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you have a glow about you. You have this energy and this glow about you that people just want to do for you, and they want to be near you, and they see you smiling and they want to smile back, and they want to feel that energy, especially if they're not in a good way or they're having a bad day or something. They want to engulf that, absolutely.
Oh gosh, yes, absolutely. But then on the other hand,
like
Cyndee,
like the moth going to the light.
Exactly. But then on the other hand, what kind of people does that draw to you? What kind of people actually starts coming out of the woodwork when you are so bright like that? What happens? Now, like energy attracts like energy unless somebody sees something that they want. And then they are attracted to that. Only the thought of what they want, not the real thing. Correct?
Yes, that can definitely happen.
So how do we protect ourselves from that?
Well,
that was a great laugh, Cynthia.
I know. It feels like a little bit of a loaded question, because the thing is that when you are who you're supposed to be and you're living your life the way you're supposed to be, the best that you can, happy and joyful and peaceful and compassionate and loving and feeling beautiful inside and out, people, you're right, are going to be drawn to that. They're going to be drawn to you. What do you do with that? Well, it's tricky. I'm just going to say.
It is, because you don't want to hurt anybody.
You don't want to hurt anybody, absolutely. But with that being said, because you're so compassionate and you don't want to hurt anybody, at some point you've got to figure out a way to speak your truth and let this person know, or people know, that, you can enjoy what you see and feel around me, but you can't take it or take advantage of it.
Boundaries. Sometimes It's hard for boundaries when you have a hard time saying no.
Yes.
And it is. It's a hard time. It's like, because before you know it, you're in the middle of this rabbit hole, and then you're getting pulled down this rabbit hole, and you're going, wait a minute. What just happened here? All I want to do is love on you. All I want you to do is have my love and see my love and be loved. Can't we just enjoy each other? I get it.
Right.
I get it. I got to share some of my experiences on the other hand, too. Is that all right if I share?
Gosh, of course, yes. I feel like I've been talking the whole time.
Oh, you have. For 45 minutes, you've been talking straight. But that's people have been asking for you to talk more. So there you go.
Well, thank you. And thank you for your questions. But go ahead, your turn. Go ahead.
My turn. So because it's about Cyndee anyway, everything is about Cyndee. Since Cyndee had that experience, there's been a lot more experiences with me, and I've been able to channel more and bring out different energy. Now, I've been always able to channel a collective of different type of energies, mostly of well-beings and doctors and things like that, of knowledge that will help somebody. And that's basically who I've been channeling. This is a whole new energy. This energy has come to me, and it's just been amazing energy. And Cyndee can contest to it, because she's heard this channeling many times, and it's to her it's amazing, isn't it? Hello, Cynthia?
Yes.
Did you hear what I said, or did you go away?
No, I heard you. The channeling that you've been getting.
Yeah. It's been amazing, hasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It has been totally amazing. And I don't know how much you want to share of it, but it's been, yes, beautiful.
I don't think she was on the same page as we are, what we were talking about. But anyway, so it's been channeling, but it's been a transcendence channel. I haven't been able to hear it myself, so I've been able to Cyndee share some of it, and some of my clients I've shared with and channeled this beautiful energy. But one night, finally, I was in the shower, and I'm actually feeling that energy come on, because at first it was a really bad headache. Then I get nauseated and everything. Then I have no idea where I was at, and blah, 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 and that. So it's so funny is that I'm here at Everything Just Rocks, and they're throwing stuff around outside, and I have no idea what the noise is going on out there. So it's weird. So anyway, I'm in the shower, and I'm having this great conversation with this higher being. And I ask him, I says, what am I supposed to teach? And he says, you need to teach people to understand the practical application of the usage of energy. And I said, what do you mean the practical application of that? The practical application of your energy. How to use your energy work. What is the practical application for it? Nobody knows the practical application of how to use it. You need to use the practical application of how to love and how to be. And so I was like, okay, so I need to teach this. I said, but I don't really understand. I said, well, the reason you don't understand this is that we are been so taught that we need to know what everything's made of. What is the composition of a pencil? What is a pencil made of? And so this being's telling me and saying, hey, figure out the pencil. What is it? It's lead, it's wood. What is it? What is the composition? What is the makeup of this pencil? I said, I don't know. I don't care. Because I know the practical application of this pencil, but I don't care what it's made of. This is what we need to start teaching people, because what we have been doing is teaching everybody what everything's made of and now how they can use it. That's the part we need to start showing people. Nobody shows anybody how to use love anymore. Nobody shows anybody how to use energy work anymore. Nobody shows people how things are supposed to work. What is the practical application of just being? So you come along and you find somebody that you enjoy being with, and you talk to them and everything else, and they don't get the practical application of what pure love is, and what unconditional love is, and what it is just to be loved. So that is something that this high being, asked me to teach, the practical application of love and how energy work is used. So that's what I'm working on. It's really beautiful. So there's been this is ever since Cyndee had her experience on the beach. So Cyndee's experiences that I've been living vicariously through, I've been actually seeing and feeling them too. And it's pretty amazing. Right, Cyndee?
Yes, absolutely. And it sounds like that class is going to be about teaching some sort of love or something, right? Or how to understand it.
I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out yet, how we're going to do this. So, I mean, it's got to be something about that, right? I mean, it's got to be how to use the practical application of love. I mean, it's sometimes when it's so natural for somebody, or like myself and yourself, that we just love everybody, What's the practical application of that? How do we teach that practical application of just loving?
Right.
What is the practical application of just loving? It's just being, right? Why can't we just be? That's the whole thing, is why can't I just walk up to somebody, give them a big hug and a kiss, and not worry about anything?
Right.
What?
The thing is, we originated from Source, and Source is that and only about love. And so that's what this is about.
So, but what is love then?
Love is, like you said, it's sharing, it's caring, it's service, it's compassion, it's joy, it's gratefulness, it's blissfulness. Love is just, we should be just being.
Just being.
Where we came from.
Absolutely.
Where we came from, because we are beings, and that's where we came from, was the being, and we just need to be.
So it's respect in some aspect also, right?
Oh, of course.
So that's being, and then respect for each other and that. But when somebody doesn't do no wrong, or doesn't even have that in their heart, what do they do with that? See, there's...
Huh? Oh, I was going to say, sorry, I didn't get the question one more time.
So when somebody just has a pure heart and they talk and think and feel from their heart only, and that's all they ever do. What? How do you teach somebody to love with a heart like that? Most likely they already know what love is, don't they? But they don't know what love is. Well, we just lost Cynthia, so it's kind of weird. The phone just went dead here. So anyway, it's kind of crazy. So right in the middle of a great question that Cyndee goes bye-bye. So we're going to try to get her back. So hang on, hold on while we try to reconnect here. What was that?
Oh, we got cut off.
This happens, doesn't it?
Yep, it happens all the time.
Did you get emotional or something? Is that why it got cut off this time?
No, I was just about ready to say something pretty kind of profound. I don't even remember what it was now.
That's what I said. That's at the end there. I said, oh, we lost Cyndee in that. And I said she was about ready to say something profound. It is. Wow, that's crazy, Cynthia. So if anybody's wondering, I call Cyndee and Cynthia because I'm trying to go back to the Cynthia and that's more of her spiritual name than Cyndee. Is that kind of interesting?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're trying it out, seeing how it works, because the huge energy that the Christ conscious energy that I've been channeling that has been calling her Cynthia. So we kind of find that fascinating. That it's funny. So, got anything else to share? I mean, we got like 5 minutes left before we have to end this beautiful podcast. But
I know. Gosh, I wish I could remember what I was going to say. I really got distracted. But we were just talking about, how do you share love? I think I was going to say, just be the example.
Oh,
That's
there you
what
go.
I'm going to say.
Exactly.
If you live the example, people will follow the example.
Oh, absolutely. That's the perfect. That's really funny because I was thinking about that today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting. It goes right hand in hand. I'm driving here to Everything Just Rocks and my whole thought process was that, we were born with respect. We are taught not to respect. So be the example of everybody. I mean, it's understandable that everybody's angry about something or someone in this world right now. I mean, somebody's butthurt about somebody did something that. What is the example we're giving to our children? What are we example of love, pure love, forgiveness in that? No, I don't know. It's just that goes a whole nother podcast, I think, because it's like, it does. Just another podcast. It's just crazy to think about that. Is that we have to be the example of everything. Is it pure love? When somebody asks me about something political or something religious and that, and I, first and foremost, I'd never ever make fun of anybody else's religion. I never would.
Nope.
We're all teaching the same thing. Everybody wants to get to the same place, and that it's about love. I mean, that no matter what, spirituality, religion, whatever. So I would never. So don't ask me because I don't have an opinion on that. Politician, I don't know these people. I've never met them, so I can't give you an accurate decision on who I like and that. I would never tell you how I judge somebody by how somebody else tell me they are. I have to meet that person first. So my example. I just live by that, my code of rules, and that I won't give you an example if I don't know. My other code of rules is that I won't talk about behind somebody's back unless I could talk to their face. I would not say what to your face. If I can't say it to your face, I won't say it behind your back. I mean, that's just a rule I have. So, I mean, it's be an example of everything. We do walk the walk, and we do talk the talk, and that when we find that love, and that it is walking the walk and talking the talk.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, well, we gotta let you go now, Cynthia. You have to go back to your leisure life on the beach. Listening to the water slapping up against the shore, and so. Yep. So.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, I'm appreciative of you. I'm so happy that we got to have this time together, and I enjoy our conversations, and I'm sure hope that our listeners love what we had to share with them today. Yeah, so everything else. So, anything else you want to
Me
share,
too.
Cynthia, before we go?
Me too. I'm certainly hoping that they enjoyed it and got something out of it and get to learn something from it and get to explore and have their own discoveries within themselves. That's what I wish for. Also, I'd like to say that the feminine, sacred feminine, is, if you haven't heard, already pretty huge right now, but I'm getting more information about it, and I'm learning more about it in different ways, and I'm excited to, in the near future, share more about that. So.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I hear you got some great information that you're going to probably be bringing back and sharing with a group of people.
Oh my gosh, I've been getting some pretty good information since I've been here on the island. I don't want to leave just because of that. My intuition is so open, like the waters and skies are so open here.
Right,
It's
absolutely.
so clear.
Yep, it's awesome, isn't it? All right, so well,
I just would like to say thank you all for listening, and again, I hope you enjoyed it and discover yourself. Love you, and may lots of blessings be blessed upon you.
I love it. Good night, everybody. Have a great night. We're here at Everything Just Rocks in Tempe, Arizona, and Cynthia comes home pretty soon, so we'll be having some live broadcasts with some new clients and some new people. I mean, I got a list of people that want to be on our podcast, so yeah, get ready for it, okay? All right. Love you guys, and you guys have a good night. Good night, Cynthia.
Bye, Rod. See you later.
Bye, honey.
Talk
See
to you
ya.
later.
Yep, bye.